Now we're moving on from the Halloween part of the class to the Reformation part where we're doing our body percussion to A Mighty Fortress. So A Mighty Fortress is a mighty hymn that was written by Martin Luther. So let's just do a quick overview of the Reformation because you could probably go on for weeks and weeks about the Reformation. We don't have time for that right now. All you really need to know is that there was a man named Martin Luther who disagreed with some of the church officials at the time, and he said you could not pay money to have your sins forgiven because by reading the Bible, he knew that you couldn't earn your way into heaven by paying money. So that is good news for us today because if that were the case, only a few rich billionaires would be able to pay money and get in. The rest of us would look into our wallets and look at this. What if I only had $1 in there? Is that enough to get in or not? I don't know. What if it's not? That's not good for news for me. So anyway, today we are throwing that out the window, and we're reminded that it's because we are so loved that we can go to heaven. So loved. That's our theme for the year, right? Yes, it is. So let's get back to the love. Let's get back to A Mighty Fortress. Here we are. All you need to know is that you have 2 lines to worry about. The first line has those 16th notes, ticky-ticky-ta, 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 boom, boom, boom. And the ticky-tickies are on your thighs, so it's like ticky-ticky-ta, 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 chest, clap. Don't worry, I'll go over that one again. That's the first line. Sometimes it repeats a few times. The second line is basically just stomp, stomp, clap, 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 butterfly. And that repeats a few times too. But before we do more body percussion, I wanted to tell you how I came up with the idea for this. Now that I've zoomed in a little bit, I can tell you the story. Now, I did mean that joke because I wrote this on September 30th, so about a month ago of this year, after the last Zoom meeting with the Bethany Choir. So, as you know, I've been playing for all the choirs here for many years, from the kindergarten through 2nd grade choir, Trinity Choir, Troubadour Choir, and the adult choir. It's been wonderful, fantastic. This year, as we know, everything has changed, and we can't have any choir. So, to start off in September, we had a few Zoom meetings with the adult choir. This was after the very last one. So this came from a place of both joy and sadness and a little bit of anger as well. So the joy was from seeing everybody. We get to talk about all the things we loved about choir, what we missed, just seeing some faces, some of whom we hadn't seen since March. So that was the joy part. The sadness was that it was our last Zoom meeting with Dr. McDaniel, who has been nothing but a fantastic, outstanding leader, both as a musician and just as a church leader in general. So I was just very sad that that was coming to an end. And then also anger, because I was just frustrated and angry at all the things that we've had to deal with since March, all the things we couldn't do, everything that was canceled. So after the Zoom meeting, I got off and I was just pacing around the house. I didn't know what to do. And then the joy brought me the song A Mighty Fortress. That sprang into my head. So there I was walking around thinking, da 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 da, oh yeah, bah, and I felt happy. But then the anger in me, I also heard A Mighty Fortress, but I heard drumming in my head too, like angry drumming. So that's where these rhythms came from. I was hearing bum with cymbals. So it was a weird combination of joy and sadness and anger. So if any of you are angry at anything that's been going on, you can take it out with your frustrations on the rhythms in here. We can still do something constructive, even if this year we didn't all get exactly what we wanted. So, all right. So let's go over our body percussion. All right. So now I'm going to go over the top line. Let me go a little bit slowly. We'll do it just one time. 1, 2, and here we go. It's tick-a-tick-a-tom, tick-a-tick-a-ta, tick-a-tick-a-ta, chest, clap. Let's try it twice in a row at that speed. 1, two, here we go. It's tick-a-tick-a-ta, 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 chest, chest, clap, tick-a-tick-a-ta, 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 chest, chest, clap. Good. In the actual song, it's 2 more times, but I'm just trying to save time. I'm not going to break down things as much this week as I did last week because I want to get to just running it a few times. All right. The second line, let me try it once slowly. It's stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, clap, butterfly. Let's try it twice in a row at that speed. 1, 2, here we go. It's stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, clap, butterfly. Stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, clap, butterfly. Good. And in the actual version, it does it 3 times in a row. And then the fourth one is slightly different at the end, which is stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, knees, knees. And notice I really am smacking my knees because I want to be ready to do that last line again. So it's like knees, knees, and then tick-a-tick-a-ta, 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 chest, chest, clap. So that knees, knees is really important. If you please, on the knees. All right, now we're going to try the whole thing with a recording I made of A Mighty Fortress. Now we're going to try the whole thing all the way through. Just watch me and do your best. If I mess up, or if you mess up, we're just going to keep on going no matter what. So you want to listen for an introduction I have. It sounds like bump, 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 and then ticka-ticka-ta. Actually, I can play it for you right now. It goes like this. And then ticka-ticka-ta, that's where you start. All right. Anyway, so here we are, the whole thing. Now, if you're in a place where you can't really move that much or you can't make a lot of noise, just do your best. You could maybe tap lightly with your fingers or something, as long as you're being quiet. If you're in a place where you can move and go crazy, go for it. All right, take 1 of A Mighty Fortress. Knees. Good. Did you make it to the end? I almost messed up, or I think I did. Anyway, we just keep on going no matter what. That's just the first take. We'll do it a few times before we're done today. All right. Just like in Hollywood, take 2. Here we go. All right, I almost forgot the knees that time. That's super important to get us into that last line. For our last time, I turned off the projector because I'm pretty sure no one's looking at it, myself included. So we're just going to do this. And this week, there is no homework. Your job is just to relax and have as good a weekend as you can, because we're celebrating not just the Reformation, we're also celebrating the fact that we have made it through the first quarter of this school year. Wow, I wasn't sure how we were going to do that. So thanks to you for all of your hard work, for your patience, and just rolling with whatever happens. That's probably what we're going to have to do for the foreseeable future. So we're just here to celebrate. I hope that in this version of A Mighty Fortress you can hear a little bit of the frustration, but also the joy, because I really want the joy to be the thing that really shines through it all. So here we are, last thing we do, as they say, last time, best time, a mighty fortress with our body percussion, and here we go. Alright, I hope that brought you joy as it brought me joy. So, have a great weekend. I'll see you all next week. Congratulations, you've just about made it to the end of October. So in honor of that, we're going to be talking more about the two things that we often celebrate or talk about at the end of October, Halloween and the Reformation. And because it's music class, we're going to talk about how those relate to music. So, let's talk about, last week we talked a lot about rounds, right? Row, row, row your boat, etc. How the triad is a very important part of those rounds, right? This week, we're going to bring back a round from last week. It's a Halloween round. Do you remember the Ghost of Tom? Have you seen the Ghost of Tom? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? So before you watch that one again, let's just talk about, because last week I didn't talk about how the triad goes along with that one. So the main note in this one is this note. That's kind of like our do, right? Now last week the triad was do, mi, so, right? Do, re, mi, fa, so. That's actually what's called the major triad. That's the one you usually hear for choir warm-ups and so on. It's kind of happy sounding, super solid, right? This week, because it's Halloween, we're going to take that middle note, mi, and we're going to lower it a little bit. Well, not all the way into the grave, but we can lower it a little bit from mi to meh. Now, I don't know what the hand sign is for meh, but that's basically the middle note of that triad. So we've got do, meh, so. So that has a different sound to it, right? So as you listen to The Ghost of Tom, you can either sing along or try the signs I made up that go along with it. The first line starts with do. The second line starts with meh, the middle note of the minor triad, and then so is the same note as the major triad. So watch for that with The Ghost of Tom, the minor triad. A little bit spooky. Here we go.
Have you seen the Ghost of Tom? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Have you seen the Ghost of Tom? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Have you chilly with no skin on? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Long white bones with the flesh all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Long white bones with
Ghost of Tom, it's what's called a round or canon, right? Where you have one voice start and then the second voice follows right after it and sings the same thing. You could even have a third voice and a fourth voice, and you could have up to 4 parts in that round or canon. So the musical word is canon, C-A-N-O-N. Now make sure if you're spelling it that there's only one N in the middle. Because if you have canon with 2 N's in the middle, C-A-N-N-O-N, we have something completely different. We've got a big metal tube, and you put some gunpowder in one end, stick the cannonball in, you light it, and kaboom! Very loud, very dangerous, right? That's the canon that you use for war. But in music, we have the canon with one N in the middle, C-A-N-O-N. Sounds the same, spelled differently. So that means one part is following another. It's doing the exact same thing, just a little bit behind. All right, so now I have another song that highlights the minor triad for you in the Halloween theme. It's called There Was an Old Woman All Skin and Bones. And just for fun, I think I'm going to show you how to play the minor triad on the piano. All right, so come quickly. Here we go. Come on, get ready. Okay, I know some of you have access to a piano or keyboard at home. If you do, you're more than welcome to try playing along to the Skin and Bones with the minor triad. If you don't have one, don't worry. You can just admire my fine camera work or laugh at it. I don't care. Holding up the computer with one hand while I try to play piano with the other. The scary part would be if I dropped the computer. So we're getting up close with a keyboard, black and white, like a scary movie. All right. Not too scary, I hope. All right. So the minor triad in this song is what I call E minor, because this note is called E. So to find E, it's pretty easy. Get it? You find 2 black notes. There they are, 2 black notes. And you just play the note that's up to the right, like that. I'm going to use my thumb. Then I skip a note. That's the middle note called G. It's like do. That would be called the meh. And then the top note is B in this chord. So you skip a note each time. That's the scary minor triad. So for if you want to try playing along to the haunting in this song, you have to start on this top note, right? That's like the so, and you're going down fa, me, do. Here it is again. That's for the old woman, all skin and bones.
There was an old woman, all skin and bones. She lived down by the old graveyard. One night she thought she'd take a walk. She walked down by the old graveyard. She saw the bones all laying around. She went to the closet to get a broom. She opened the door and boom!
Did you hear that minor triad in there? All right. Speaking of threes and triad, do you remember how we did conducting a few weeks ago? We conducted in 3, right? We went the downbeat 1, then out to the side for 2, and the upbeat for 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, what you just heard was actually in 3. It was kind of fast, right? But 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's almost too fast to conduct, right? Let's slow it down just a little bit. And I feel like instead of a minor triad, let's bring back the major triad. Because we don't want everything to be super scary. All right, let's see. How about let's try this song. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Have you ever heard that song before? It's a famous American folk song, meaning we don't know who wrote it, but it was written by someone in the United States. Clementine is the name of the tune, right? Oh my darling, oh my darling. Speaking of the triad, wait a minute. If this is do, right? Do, mi, so. The triad's right there at the beginning of the song. All right, but because Halloween's coming up, we're going to replace the words a little bit. Instead of, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling. Instead of Clementine, it's going to be Frankenstein. So as you listen to Frankenstein, oh my darling, listen for the fact that it's in 3, and also that you've got the triad, do, mi, so. All right, here we go. Oh my darling, Frankenstein.